welcome of you. Today I will discuss some other problem that which is related to two important formula about which I have already explained and proof. But today we have to take only standard problems which is related to all those formulas. I think I have already given you two videos in which I will in first video I give you only concept of limit, what is limit and what does represent limit and what is its actual meaning and geometrical meaning. I have already told you, but after it I will take some in second video I take some example and one or two formula and some algebra of limits. After it in the third video I will discuss some important problems which is related to that problems which is related to that problem, that means formula. Now I want to again revise you two formula, but after when we use this formula I will again write it. But firstly I want to take some those problems which is based upon factorization process. I have already told you, while by direct putting value, while you solve a limit problem by direct putting and you face and you get in denominator 0 or you get any that terms or any that value of given limit which is not element of real number, then you have to proceed by factorization process or other. There is also other process by multiplying conjugate in numerator and denominator, and third will be which is based upon formula. Firstly I want to write again those problems which is based upon factorization. Firstly write third 3, because in the previous class I have already explained third 2. In this given problem, given that limits x tends to 3, x to the power 4 minus x cube divided by 2x square minus 5x minus 3. I have already told you, you can solve it directly putting the value of x, but if you put x equal to 3, you get what? Do you know? 3 to the power 4, that means 81 minus 81 0 divided by, if you put here 3 square into 2, that means what? 18 minus 15 minus 3, that will be also 0, because minus 15 minus 3 minus 18, 18 minus 18, that will be 0. You get finally 0 upon 0, about which you don't know what is this. So you have to again solve. That means there should be definitely those terms available in numerator and denominator which can be cancelled each other. So you have to factorize numerator and denominator. After it you have to cancel each other. X to the power 4 minus 18. Can you write 18 as 3 to the power 4? If you write it 3 to the power 4, can you write x to the power 4 is equal to x square whole square, and 3 to the power 4 can be written as 3 whole square. That means it is just like a x square whole square minus 3 square whole square. So a square minus b square can be written as x square a plus b. How can we write? Do you know? It is nothing, just like a x square plus 9, that means 3 square 9 and a plus b into a minus b. Now in denominator it is a minus 6, that means can you write 2x square minus 5x minus 6. So minus 6 can be written as minus 3x. I want to see again problem. 2x square minus 5x minus 3 minus 6. There should be minus 6 plus x minus 3. Now you have to again explain x belongs to 3. Can you write x square plus 9 into, can you write it x plus 3 into x minus 3? Now in denominator, if you take common 2x here, you get 2x into x minus 6, and if you take here common 1, you get what? Here will be 3, and if you take common here 1, you get x minus 3. Again you have to solve it by taking, you can write limit x tends to 3. If you in numerator you get x square plus 9 into x plus 3 into x minus 3. Denominator, if you take common x minus 3, what do you get? 2x plus 1. Now you observe that here x minus 3 and x minus 3 cancel each other. After you have to write again one step. Can you write limit x tends to 3 x square plus 9 into x plus 3 divided by 2x plus 1. Don't forget write to actual step. Don't if you write limit x tends to 3 x square plus 9 into x plus 3 divided by 2x plus 1, now you have to just put the value of 3. If you put it, you get 3 square 9 plus 9, that means 18 into 3 plus 3, that will be 6 divided by 2 3 are 6 plus 1, that means 7. It is your final answer. You can calculate 18 6 are what? Now I want to take another example. 3 4. Three, four, third, fourth. In this problem, it says to you limit x tends to root 2 x to the power 4 minus 4 divided by x square plus 3 root x minus 8. Now you have to solve it. This is nothing. If you know by proper manner factorization, it becomes very easy. Now, how can you solve it? I want to again tell you about factorization in so detail. First, how can you middle term split? Do you know about it? I think it is very easy, but most of the time students doesn't know very well about square root related factorization. Now, I want to explain it. X square plus 3 root 2 x minus 8. How can you solve it? About which I have already told you. Firstly, you have to multiply minus 8 by this term. That means constant term you have to multiply by coefficient of x square. Then you get what? Minus 8. You get what? Minus 8. Now, you have to split 8 into, you have to split 8 as two terms. As that two terms whose sum will be 3 root 2, but product will be minus 8. Now, how can we, because here is root 2, here there is a root 2. How can you consider there should be definitely, you have to get as a sum root 2, definitely there should be in both terms. While you are splitting minus 8, definitely in 8 there should be two terms in which root 2 definitely contained. If root 2 is not available in both terms, then how can you get the addition of both terms will be 3 root 2? So, any term, if you split any term, there should be root 2 is also definitely available in both terms. Now, if in both terms root 2 is available, now you have to choose both terms. Here in both box, you have to choose that proper term. If you add both terms, you get 3 root 2, but it's multiplication only minus 8. Now you have to consider about it. How can you do it? Now, can I put here 4 and I want to put here minus 1? If you put here minus 1 and if you add it 4 root 2 minus 1 root 2, you get 3 root 2. And if you multiply it 4 root 2 into minus 1 root 2, then what do you get? 4 into minus 2, because root 2 into root 2 2 and minus 2, that will be minus 8. That means 3 root 2 x can be written as 4 root 2 x minus root 2 x. This is the conceptual way. Do you understand it? Otherwise, there is nothing in this problem. I want to write another matter also. As you know that minus 8 is equal to what? I have already rubbed it. Minus 4 root 2 into root 2. I have already write it. So you can replace it by this way. Minus 4 root 2 into root 2. Do you understand it? Now you have to take common in both terms. What do you get? X into x plus 4 root 2 and minus. If you take here common what? Minus root 2. What do you get? X plus 4 root 2. Do you understand? If you take again common on both terms, what can you take common? X plus 4 root 2. What do you get? X minus root 2. Now you have to simply put, can you write limit x tends to root 2, x to the power 4 minus 4. Can you write it? X square whole square minus 2 whole square. As you know that it is just as a square minus b square. What is the formula of a square minus b square? A plus b into a minus b. So you can write it a plus b into a minus b divided by, it will be just as x plus 4 root 2 into x minus root 2. Can you write it? Now, here you observe that there is no any two terms in numerator and denominator which can be cancelled each other. So, you have to further factorize any terms which is relevant something each other. Now, if you consider about x square minus 2, what can you consider about it? Can you write x tends to root 2, x square plus 2, can you write 2 as root 2 whole square? If 2 is equal to root 2 whole square, then it is just as a x square minus root 2 whole square, and if it is x square minus root 2 square just as a square minus b square, so you can put it x plus root 2 into x minus root 2 divided by x plus 4 root 2 into x minus root 2. There is nothing, just as a logic of factorization. Now you have to put directly root 2. If you put directly root 2, you definitely get a definite number. If you put root 2, you get 2 plus 2 4. Root 2 whole square 2, 2 plus 2 4. If you root 2 here, root 2 plus root 2, 2 root 2, 2 root 2 into 4, what will be you get? 8 4 plus 2 root 2, that means 8 root 2 divided by, if you put here root 2, you get 5 root 2 into 5 root 2 simply. Root 2 cancel and you finally get it by 5, which is your required answer. I think you understand my matter. Now I agree that the next example, which is also similar process to solve. In the next question, it is given that 1 minute wait. Pin exchange. Now I want to take problem 5. In the problem 5, it is given that limit x tends to 1, 5 1. It is given that limit x tends to 1, x minus 2 divided by x square minus x minus 2 into divided by x square minus x minus 1 by x cube minus 3x square plus 2x. This is very good problem. How can you solve it? You have to consider about firstly. So I have already told you. Firstly, you have to go by usual way. If you go by usual way, that means what? You have to simply put x equal to 1. If you put simply x equal to 1, what do you get? It is infinity, because 1 minus 2 minus 1 divided by 0. In this case, it will be minus infinity, and it will be infinity. That belongs to doesn't any real number. If it is infinity and there will be anything, I don't know what is given there, but you don't know about infinity, so you have to definitely simplify given expression. If you try to simplify it, can you write x limit x tends to 2? Simply you have to firstly take LCM. Before taking LCM, you have to write in a standard form. Can you write it x into x minus 1 minus 1 upon? If you take here common x, you get x square minus 3 x. X square minus 3x plus 2. Now, can you write it limit x tends to 1, x minus 2 divided by x into x minus 1 minus 1 upon, if you can you simplify it as x square minus 3x plus 2 as x minus 2 into x minus 1, can you write it? Now you have to take LCM and proceed again. If you take here LCM, what do you get? Here LCM will be x into x minus 2 into x minus 1. If you divide by this term, in this term you get what? X and x minus y will be cancelled, and you get x minus 2, and you have to multiply simply in this term x minus 2 whole square minus. If you divide by this term in this term, you get simply 1, and you have to write 1 whole square. Can you write it? Do you understand it? Now you have to again limit x tends to 1. Here it is a square minus b square. If it is a square minus b square, a square minus b square is equal to what? A plus b into a minus b. So can you write a plus b, that means x minus 2 plus 1, that means x minus 1 into x minus b, because x plus a into x minus b, x minus b, that means you have to subtract 1 from this term. If you subtract 1 from this term, you get x minus 3, because x minus 2 minus 1, that means x minus 3. In denominator, you get x into x minus 2 into x minus 3. Now here you get x minus 1 and x minus 1 is cancelled. This is both that term that makes both term infinity. So both term will be cancelled. Finally you have to put it in 1 minus 3, that means minus 2 divided by 1 minus 1 minus 2, that means 1. 1 into minus 1. So you get 2 is your final answer. Sometimes while you are solving those problems, in first if you factorize and you get this term, and sometimes is cancelled. Further it doesn't give proper value that belongs to real number. In this case you have to again factorize your or you have to properly manage that terms, or you have to definitely there will be again any term which is common in both terms. we have to again by forcibly or anyway we have to factorize and remove that terms which is common in numerator and denominator, due to which it becomes infinity. Now I will again take another example. I think you understand. I don't consider about calculation, so you have to only take a here concept. Now I want to take formula based problems. Formula based. I want to again recall your formula about which I have already told you. Limit x tends to a, x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a. Directly you can write n into a to the power n minus 1. But you have to remember it. Given expression should be as it. Should be is at. Should be as it. If it is not as it, then you have to forcibly convert it as. In that, otherwise you can't solve it by this formula. And another formula is limit x tends to a, x to the power m minus a to the power m divided by x to the power n minus n a to the power, that will be m by n into a to the power m minus n. This is your second formula, and you have to remember both formula. And you have to see given problem is comes in which form. Form 1 or form 2, and according to obtained form you have to apply formula, and you can get simply your answer. Now it is very easy formula. I think it is also lesser tougher. It is less of the factorization process. So firstly I want to take 5. 1. It is in this problem given that limit x tends to x to the power 4 minus 16 divided by x minus 2. You have to find the value of this expression. How can you solve it? It's very easy. You have to simply write limit x tends to 2. Can you write it? X to the power 4 minus 16 divided by 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4 divided by x minus 2. Can you write it? And you know that what formula is as limit x tends to a into x to the power m into a to the power, sorry, you can write m or n anywhere, x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a is equal to n into a to the power n minus 1, about which I have already told you. So you can put here directly. Here n is equal to what? 4. A is equal to what? 2. Because in place of a what? 4. In place of n is equal to what? 4. So you can proceed directly. Is equal to n, that means 4, into a, that means 2, n minus 1, that means 4 minus 1, is equal to 4 into 2 to the power 3 is equal to 4 into 8, that will be 32, which is your final answer. Now I want to take another example, which is as limit x tends to 1, x to the power 15 minus 1 divided by x to the power 10 minus 1. How can you solve this problem? I have already given you that formula, which is as, can you write it? Limit x tends to 1, x to the power 15 minus 1 to the power 15 divided by x to the power 10 minus 1 to the power 10. Can you write it? If you write, as you know that limit x tends to a, x to the power m minus a to the power m divided by x minus x to the power n minus a to the power n, that will be m by n into a to the power m minus n. I think you know about it. If you know, you compare this formula. Is it same? Is it same? Here you get m is equal to 15, n is equal to 10, a is equal to 1. So you can solve directly m by n, that means 15 by 10, and 1 to the power a to the power m minus n. Here a is equal to 1, so you can a is equal to 1, and m minus n, that means 15 minus 10, that will be 15 by 10, that will be 5 to the 10, 5 3 that means 3 by 2 into 1 to the power 15 minus 10, that will be 5. So you can write 1 to the power 5 will be 1. So 3 by 2 into 1 is equal to 1. So 3 by 2 into 1 is equal to 3 by 2. I think you understand my concept. Now I again take next examples. Sometimes I love fastly, so you can pause your video and write. One minute again. Now I want to take another example. I have already told you both formula also true for n belongs to rational number. I have already told you, but n belongs to irrational number, it is not true. It is only true for n belongs to rational number. Be careful about it. Now I want to take third example. In third example, it is given that you have to find the limit x tends to 1, sorry, z tends to 1, and z to the power 1 upon 3 minus 1 divided by z to the power 1 upon 6 minus 1. Can you write it? Limit z tends to 1, z to the power 1 upon 3 minus 1 to the power 1 upon 3, because 1 to the power any, if you take any power of 1, it will be always 1. Now, z to the power 1 upon 6 minus 1 to the power x 6. Can you write it? Now here you observe that it is nothing. It is a limit x tends to a, x to the power m minus a to the power m divided by x to the power n minus a to the power n. In that case, I have already told you it will be equal to m by n into a to the power m minus n. So can you write m by n? Here m is equal to 1 upon 3, n is equal to 1 upon 6 into a to the power. That means a is equal to 1. M minus n, m will be 1 upon 3, n is equal to 1 upon 6. Can you write 1 upon 3 minus 1 upon 6? Now it will be 6 will be go in denominator while 3 comes in denominator. 6 upon 3 into 1 upon anything will be 1. So 6 upon 3 is equal to what? 2. It is your final answer of this problem. Now we take next example 4. In example 4, it is given that limits x tends to half 8x cube minus 1 divided by 16 into x to the power 4 minus 1. Now you have to solve this problem. How can you solve it? Firstly, given problem is just as a previous two formula, but there is some mistakes in x cube and x to the power 4. There is some constant which is as a multiplication. So you have to take common from these both terms. If you take 8 common from this term, can you write it? Limit. If you take common 8, then what can you say about it? Limit x tends to half. Now it will be just as a x to the power q minus 1 upon 8 into 16 into x to the power minus 1 upon 16. Now it can be divided 1 upon 2. Now it is just a constant. As I have already told you, limit x tends to a k into fx. You can take common from whole expression. In that case, can you write it 1 upon 2? Limit x tends to half x2 minus 1 upon, that means x whole to the power 3 minus 1 upon 2 whole to the power 3 divided by x to the power 4 minus 1 upon 2 whole to the power 4. Can you write it? Now it is nothing. It is just as x to the power limit x tends to a x to the power m minus a to the power m divided by x to the power n minus a to the power m. In that case, I have already told you it will be m minus n, sorry, m by m into a to the power m minus n. So can you write it 3 by 4 into, sorry, 1 upon 2 into m by n, that means here m is equal to 3. So can you write 3 by 4 into 1 upon 2 to the power m minus n, 3 minus 4. Now you get 3 upon 8 into 1 upon 2 a to the power 3 minus 4, that means minus 1. If you take 1 upon 2 to the power minus 1, it will be what? 2. Simply 1 upon 2 to the power minus 1, that will be 2. So you get 3 upon 8 into 2, that will be 3 upon 4, which is your required answer from this question. Now, we take another examples. I think you understand all problems. All problems are completely based upon formula. Only you have to choose which formula is applicable in given your problems. Firstly, now we take another examples. 5. In this example, it is given that limits x tends to minus 3, x to the power 3 plus 27 divided by x to the power 5 to the power 243. How can you solve it? Again, you have to. As you know that in numerator is also power something, now denominator is also something power. So definitely formula is used. Second formula. Now you have to try to solve it. X cube plus 3 whole to the power 3. Can you write it? Now in denominator you get what will be the expression x to the power 5 plus 3 to the power 5. Can you write it? Now you observe that here m is equal to 3, n is equal to 5, and a is equal to what? 3. So can you write it directly 3 by 5 into a, that means 3 into m minus n, that means 3 minus 5. That will be 3 by 5 into 3 minus 5, that will be what? Minus 2. So can you write 3 to the power minus 2 is equal to 3 by 5 into 1 upon 3 whole square. 3 and 3 cancel, so you can write it will be finally 1.5, which is your final answer. Now I want to take next example, limit 1 upon x, limit x tends to 0, 1 upon x to the power 5 minus 1 divided by x. If you consider about this problem, it looks as something different to solve this problem, because there is no any terms which as this formula. So how can we solve it? Because in this given formula, there should be if there is 1 plus x, there definitely will be 1 plus x. Now I want to write something here. Can you write limit x tends to 0, 1 plus x to the power 5 minus 1 to the power 5 divided by, if you write 1 plus x minus 1, is it correct? Because 1 and minus 1 will be cancel each other, simply you get x, both will be same. Now here you observe that if you suppose this term will be any term, suppose that it is suppose that 1 plus x is equal to y, then it will be y to the power 5 minus 1 to the power 5 y minus 1. Definitely in this case it follows first formula. So can you write it a, that means here a is equal to 1, a is equal to 1 and n is equal to 5. So can you write n into a to the power, that means 1 to the power n minus 1, that means 5 minus 1, that will be 5 into 1, that will be 5, which is your final answer. Now I think your formula, that means this formula type problems are all will be discussed. Now I want to take some different problems. Example 6. In example 6 it is given that limit x tends to 0, root 1 plus 3x minus under root 1 minus 3x divided by x, and you have to solve this problem. How can you solve it? As you know that given this problem, there is no any formula by which you can solve this problem. So definitely you have to solve another way. In that case, if you put, suppose that if you try to solve this problem by putting x is equal to 0, you get definitely something different. That means you get 0 by 0, which is not any real number. So you have to solve again by some usual way. Now I am trying to, if there is any terms as a plus root b, a minus root b, root a plus root b, root a minus root b, terms available in this expression, then and after putting the value of x, you get some indeterminate form. Then you have to multiply. If a plus root b is available, then you have to multiply in numerator and denominator by a minus root b. If there is available a minus root b, then you have to multiply numerator and denominator a plus b. If there is available root under a plus root under b, then you have to multiply numerator and denominator by root under a minus root under b. If there is available term root under a minus root b, then you have to multiply numerator and denominator by root under a plus root under b. That means simply sign change and you have to multiply numerator and denominator. After it you have to proceed. So can you multiply here? Limit x tends to 0. If you multiply in numerator and denominator by root under 1 plus 3x plus root under 1 minus 3x, what will be happen here? Simply you get root under 1 plus 3x minus root under 1 minus 3x into divided by, firstly I want to multiply what? 1 plus 3x plus root under 1 minus 3x. If you multiply by this term in numerator and denominator, if you multiply by this term in numerator, what do you get? Root under 1 plus 3x plus root under 1 minus 3x. What do you get? In this case, it will be limits x tends to 0. Here a plus b into a minus b, a plus b into a minus b will be what? A square minus b square. A square minus, that means what? 1 plus 3x. Simply a square root sign will be removed, because if you remove that terms containing a square root, definitely a sign will be removed, a square root sign removed. 1 plus 3x minus 1 minus 3x. 1 minus 3x is minus plus 3x divided by, in denominator you simply get 1 plus 3x plus root under 1 minus 3x. Here 1 and minus 1 cancel and you get in numerator what? Sorry, there is also another term x. I forget. You get 3x plus 3x what? 6x. 3x plus 3x what? 6x. Now after it you have to write here limit x tends to 0 at 6x divided by x into root under 1 plus 3x plus root under 1 minus 3x. Can you write it here? X and x cancel. Now you have to directly put the value of x is equal to 0. If you put x is equal to 0, you get numerator 6 and denominator 3x is equal to 0. 3x is equal to 0, that means root under 1, that means 1. Root under 1, that means 1. So 1 and 1 that will be what? 2. 6 by 2, that means what? Which is your final answer. I think there is nothing in this problem, only calculation. So don't fear as these problems. Simply you have to proceed by multiplying conjugate in numerator and denominator and proceed. Now we take example second. Example second, limit x tends to 0. Limit x tends to 0. 1 upon x into 1 upon under root x plus 4. X plus 4. I think x plus 4 minus 1 upon root under x. You have to find the limit of this problem. How can you solve it? If you put x is equal to 0, what do you get? Definitely you get something different, which is not acceptable here in set of given. That means in set of problems, because 1 upon x is infinity. If you multiply in this term infinity, it is not acceptable in a set of real numbers. So you have to firstly simplify it. If you take x tends to 0, you have to take here firstly LCM. So can you write 1 upon x? Root under x minus root under x plus 4. In denominator you get root under x into root under x plus 4. Can you write it? Now you have to simply write it, limit x tends to 0. If you multiply numerator and denominator by root under x into root under x plus 4, what do you get? Can you write it? 1 upon x into root under x minus root under x plus 4 into root under x into root under x plus 4 into root under x plus root under x plus 4. Can you write? And second term is given root under x into root under x plus 4 into, as you have multiplied in numerator and denominator by root under x plus root under x plus 4, 6, so you have to also write in denominator root under x plus root under x plus 4. After it, you get limit x tends to 0. A minus b into a plus b, that means a square x minus b square root under x plus 4 whole square, that means simply x plus 4 divided by, here you get x into root under x into root under x and root under x plus 4 into root under x plus root under x plus 4. Now if you put x here, x and x is equal to cancel them, so in numerator you get simply what? Minus 4. In numerator you get what? Minus 4. So you get minus 4 divided by, in denominator what do you get? In denominator if you put x, what do we do here? X minus x plus 4. One minute wait. Now you have to directly put, if you put here x is equal to 0, if you put here x is equal to 0, then there may be some mistake, then you have to correct it, because I think there is done some mistakes in writing problems, due to which I got as like this answer. I think there should be some terms added, maybe mistake. In that case minus 4 by 0, that means what? Minus infinity. You can get minus infinity, it doesn't matter, you can get minus infinity is your correct answer. But sometimes you get indeterminate form, in that case you can't say about your correct answer. This is your actual factor. While you get some indeterminate form, then you can't you can't put x is equal to that value towards x approaching. Now I want to take next examples. Now we'll take another examples. Now we take another examples. In the next example, there is given that C11 in this problem it is given that limits x tends to 1, x tends to minus 3, x square minus 9 divided by under root x square plus 16 minus 5. How can you solve this problem? Firstly, you have to, as you know that if you put x is equal to minus 3, you get something that which is not acceptable in case instead of real number. So you have to definitely try to solve this problem by another way. In this problem, it is given that 5. Okay. Now you have to proceed again. Firstly, you have to, what do you do? Definitely, this is question, and now first step will be you have to multiply this question by root under 16 plus root under x square plus 16 plus 5 in denominator and similar in numerator. If you multiply this by this factor, then in numerator, what do you get? In numerator, you get limits x tends to -3, x square minus 9 into under root x square plus 16 plus 5 divided by, here it will be a minus b into a plus b, a square minus b square, that means x square plus 16 minus b square, that means 25. Now here you get x square 16 minus 25, that means minus 9. So it will be x square minus 9. Both term will be cancelled. Now if you put x square, x is root to minus 3, you get what? Under root minus 3 whole square plus 16 plus 5. Now minus 3 square will be what? 9. 16 plus 9 will be what? 25. Root under 25 will be what? 5 plus 5 will be what? 10. Which is your required answer. I think you understand my factor. Now I want to take next example. In the next question, what do they tell you? I want to explain. In the next question, it is given that second, limit x tends to 0 under root 1 plus x square minus under root 1 minus x divided by x. How can you solve it? If you put x equal to 0, definitely you will get the indeterminate form. Now, so you have to simplify by multiplying conjugates of root under 1 plus x square minus root under 1 minus x square. If you multiply by its conjugate, what do you get? Under root 1 plus x square plus root under minus 1 minus x. You have to multiply its conjugate. Conjugate will be what? Simply minus is replaced by plus and the remaining term will be same. So you have to write it under root 1 plus x square plus under root 1 minus x. If you write now in denominator, you have to also multiply by same term, that means 1 plus x square plus under root 1 minus x. Now you get in numerator limits x tends to 0. In numerator you get a plus b into a minus b, that means a square minus b square divided by, in denominator you get x, and remaining term will be root under 1 plus x square plus under root 1 minus x square. Under root 1 minus x. Here 1 and minus 1 cancel. X square plus x. Can you take common here x from both terms? If you take common x, you get what? X plus 1. And in denominator you get what? X into under root 1 plus x square plus under root 1 minus x. Can you write x into under root 1 plus x square plus under root 1 minus x? Now here x and x each other cancel. If you put x tends to 0, then you, what do you get? In numerator you get 1, and in denominator 1 plus 1, that means 2. Because if you put here 0, it will be root under 1, that will be 1. If you put here x equal to 0, it will be also root under 1, that will be also 1. 1 plus 1, that will be 2. So you can write it 1 upon 2, which is your required answer. Now we take another example second. Now we take another example, which is given that example third. Limits x tends to a root under a plus 2x, root under a plus 2x minus root under 3x divided by root under 3a plus x minus 2 root under x. You have to solve it. How can you solve it? Similarly, you have to again, as you know that if you put x equal to a, what do you get? Both term each other 0 by 0. In this case, you can't say anything about it. So you have to again multiply its conjugate respectively. That means you have to multiply numerator conjugate and denominator conjugate both. In that case, what do you get? In numerator, you get root under a plus 2x minus root under 3x. If you multiply its conjugate, what do you get? Root under a plus 2x plus root under 3x. You have to multiply by this factor. And in denominator, it is root 3a plus x minus 2 root x. Firstly, you have to multiply by this factor. But before this factor, I want to tell you, you have to also multiply by its conjugate. If you multiply its conjugate, you have to multiply root under 3a plus x plus 2 root x. If you multiply by this factor, and by this factor you have to also multiply numerator, then you want to get root 3a plus x plus 2 root x, and by this factor you have to also multiply numerator. Now, what do you get? Now, limit x tends to 0. Here, a plus b into a minus b, what do you get? A plus 2x minus 3x. And here you get root 3a plus x plus 2 root x divided by in denominator. If you multiply this factor by this, you get what? 3a plus x minus 2x into in denominator, what do you get? Root under a plus 2x plus root under 3x. Now, here you get a minus x, here you get 3a minus x. If you put x equal to 0, here you get what? A by here, if you put here x equal to 0, what do you get? 3a. That means a by 3 means 1 upon 3 into, if you put x equal to 0 in this term, what you get? Root under 3a and 2 root a. That means, can you write root under 3a plus 2 root a? Sorry. Root under 3a, and if you put here x equal to 0, it will be 0. And if you put here x equal to 0, what do you get? Root under a plus 0. Simply denominator, what do you get? Root under a. Now you have to cancel each other. Finally, you get what? 1 upon 3 into root under 3. Root 3 divides with 3 in which times? 1 upon root 3, which is your required answer. This is the actual way by which you can solve all these problems, but it is a good problem. Be careful about this. Or you have to solve all those problems which is as it. Similar way you can solve example 8. Example 8 is also similar kind of problem. Now I want to take example 8. 1 minute wait. If I take example 8, you have to see it. In example 8, it is given that limit x tends to 1, x tends to 7, 4 minus root under 9 plus x, 4 minus 9 plus x divided by 1 minus under root 8 minus x. If you put directly in x is equal to 7, what do you get? It will be 0 upon 0, because 9 plus 7 is 16, that is root under 16, 4 minus from 0. Similarly, in denominator you get also 0, which is not belongs to any real number. So you have to multiply numerator and denominator by what? Its conjugate factor. If you multiply, what is the conjugate factor of this factor? 4 minus conjugate of 4 minus root under 9 plus x will be 4 plus 9 under root 9 plus x. So you have to multiply numerator and denominator. Similarly, you have to also multiply conjugate of denominator. That will be 1 plus root under 8 minus x. Numerator and denominator also. So you have to multiply 1 by 1, 4 minus under root 9 plus x. If you multiply in denominator, you get 1 minus root under 8 minus x. If you multiply by this factor in denominator, what do you get? Root under 9 plus x. If you multiply this factor here, you get 1 plus root under 8 minus x. Sorry, don't write it. Firstly write it. Its conjugate, which will be 4 plus under root 9 plus x. Now, I will again write it, but before it, I want to write its conjugate, such that I want to write more steps solving this problem. Now, as I know that I have to multiply by conjugate of this factor, numerator and denominator both. Here I have already multiplied numerator, so you have to multiply also denominator. I want to write here. Now I have multiplied conjugate of this factor firstly here. Now you have to also multiply this factor in numerator, such that it leaves as balance limit x tends to 7. Now 4 minus root under 9 plus x. If you simplify, can you write 60 minus 9 minus x, and this term will be 1 minus 8 plus x. Can you write it? Into This term will be 1 plus under root 8 minus x divided by 4 plus under root 9 plus x. Can you write? Now you have to put x equal to 7. If you put x equal to 7, firstly 7 minus x, here it will be 7 minus x, and here it will be x minus 7. So it divides minus 1 times. And if you put directly x equal to 7, what do you get? Minus 1 into, if you put 7, 1 plus 1, 2 divided by, if you put here x equal to 7, 9 plus 7, 16, 4 plus 4, that will be 8. So it will be minus 1/4, which is your final answer of this question. I think example 8 you understood. Now, I think similar way you can solve question 9, but I want to tell you again about this problem. Example 9. I want to write 9. If gx is equal to under root 25 minus x square, evaluate limit x tends to 1 gx minus g1 divided by x minus 1. You have to find its value. How can you solve this problem? It is very easy. Firstly, as you know that you have to find a limit x tends to 1, gx will be root under 25 minus x square minus g1. You have to put 1. You get what? Root under 24. Because if you g1 means that you have to put at x equal to 1 in this gx. You put if you put x equal to 1 in gx, then you what you get? Root under 24 in denominator. Similarly, you write what? X minus 1. Now you have to multiply by conjugate of this factor. If you multiply its conjugate, what do you get? Under root 25 minus x square plus root under 24. In that case, in denominator, what do you get? As you multiply by this factor, that means under root 25 minus x square plus root under 24. Can you write it? Now, in numerator, can you write simply limits x tends to 1, 25 minus x square minus 24 divided by x minus 1 into, here you get root under 25 minus x square plus root under 24. I think you understand or not. Now, I want to tell you, 1 minute wait. Now, I want to tell you, as you know that it is 25 minus 24, that means 1 minus x square. 1 minus x square, can you write it as 1 plus x into 1 minus x? Can you write it? It is equal to, now x minus 1, can divide it by minus 1. Finally, you get minus 1 upon x. Minus 1 times 1 plus x. Minus 1 times 1 plus x divided by this factor. If you put x is equal to 1, what do you get? 1 plus 1? 2. That means minus 2 into 1, minus 2 divided by. If you put x is equal to 1 in this term, what do you get? Root under 24. Root under 24, that means root under 24, that will be 1. Minus 1 upon 2 24. Minus 1 upon root under 24. Which is your required answer of this question. Similarly, you can solve example 10. Now I want to take example 10. In example 10, it is given that limits x tends to 0, 1 plus x to the power n minus 1 divided by x. How can you solve? It is very easy question because this term I have already discussed. 1 plus x to the power n minus 1 to the power n. Can you write it? Because if you take 1 to the power any terms, it will be always 1. So you can write it as, because 1 minus 1 cancel and finally you get x. Now it is just like limit x to the power n minus 2 to the power n divided by x minus 1. So can you write it n into a to the power, that means 1 to the power n minus 1. It will be as well. So easy problem. Now I want to take it is 10 1. Now I want to take 10 1. Now I want to take 10 2. Can you solve limits x tends to 0, 1 plus x to the power 6 minus 1 divided by 1 plus x whole square minus 1. Now in this problem what can you say? It is just like a suppose that 1 plus x is equal to y. It will be 1 y to the power 6 minus 1 to the power 6. Can you write it just like this? In this case, y to the power 6 minus 1 to the power 6 divided by y to the power 2 minus y to the power 2 minus 1 to the power 2. If it is in this form, then simply m by n, that means 6 by 2 into a to the power, that means 1 to the you have to write one or two step. I have directly write here 6 by 2 m by n into a will be 1 to the power m minus n, that means 6 minus 2. Because in this your book, there is no given this formula. I have already told you. So 1 to the power 4 is equal to what? I think this is also easy problem. Now I want to take 11th example 1. In this problem, it is given the limits x tends to 0, x plus 2 whole to the power 1 upon 3 minus 2 to the power 1 upon 3 divided by x. Now how can you solve it? It is also very easy. Now you definitely think, how can it will be easy? Can you add here 2 and subtract here 2? It is not affected by adding 2 or minus 2. In that case, you can say that 2 plus x. Can you write it? X plus 2. Both will be same. Now you see that nothing. Suppose that x plus 2 is equal to suppose that x plus 2 is equal to y. It will be y to the power m minus 2 to the power m divided by y minus 2. That means it will be n into a to the power 2 to the power m minus n. That means 2 to the power simply 1 upon 3 minus 1, because it will be just like this formula. Limits x tends to a x to the power m minus x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus 1 a, which will be n into a to the power n minus 1, just like this formula. Now can you solve it? 1 upon 3 into 2 to the power minus 2 by 3. If you solve 2 to the power minus 2 by 3, 2 to the power minus 2 by 3, that means 1 upon 2 to the power 2 by 3. Can you write? Now it will be nothing. It is like 1 upon 3 into 4. That means cube root of 4. 1 upon 3 into cube root of 4, which is its correct answer. Now I want to take I think 11 more you understand. Now we take 11 2. In the 11 2, given that limits x tends to 1, x to the power 4 minus root under x divided by root x minus 1. How can you solve it? Simply you have to multiply its conjugate. After it becomes very easy for you. Can you write it? And you have to also multiply its conjugate. Then what can you say? X to the power 4 plus under root x. Now you observe that if you take both term in one place and the both term in one place, can you write it? Limit x tends to 1. If you multiply x to the power 4 a plus b into a minus b, a square, that means x to the power 8, because x to the power 4 whole square will be x to the power 8, and minus b square, that means root under x whole square, that means what? X square divided by you have to also multiply in this factor root under x plus 1. Now in denominator you get root under x minus 1 into root under x plus 1, what? X plus x minus 1 simply. Now it will be x to the power 4 plus root under x. Now how can you solve this problem? Don't worry, you don't solve this problem by this way. I want to give you another way by which you can solve this problem. Firstly, can you write x to the power 1 and limit x tends to 1, x to the power 4, it is x to the power 4. Now you have to write x to the power 4. If you take here common, suppose that you take common here, root x to the power 3 by 2, it is more than that the required factor. 1 minute wait. Root under x to the power 4 minus root x divided by root under x minus 1. Okay. Now be careful here. X to the power 4 minus root under x. How can you solve this problem? Simply, firstly you have to take here common. See here, 1 minute. So you have to simplify it. Can you write x to the power 4 is equal to x to the power 7 by 2 into x to the power 1? 1 upon 2. Can you write? What do we have? Simply as 4 can be written as 7 by 2 plus 1 upon 2. That means can you write x to the power 4 is equal to x to the power 7 by 2 into x to the power 1 upon 2. In that case, you can write 7 upon 2 to x to the power 7 by 2 into x to the power 1 upon 2. As you know that x to the power 1 upon 2 is equal to root under x. So can you write it as? I think you understand my matter. Now you have to take common from above root under x. If you take common x to the power x root under x, then can you write root under x into x to the power 7 by 2 minus 1. Here you get 1. Can you write 1 to the power 7 by 2? You get here 1 after taking common root under x in both terms. So can you write 1 is just as 1 to the power 7 by 2? In denominator you get as root under x minus 1. That means x to the power 1 upon 2 minus 1 to the power 1 upon 2. Can you write 1? As you know that 1 can be raised by any power. It doesn't affect it. So you can write if you put here root under x is equal to 1, can you write put directly 1 into here you have to put formula. Which formula? As you know that you have to apply m by n. M is equal to what? 7 by 2 by n 1 upon 2 into a to the power 1 upon a to the power m is equal to 7 by 2 minus n 1 upon 2. Now simply you have to 2 to cancel and it will be 7. As you know that 1 to the power, if you raise any power to the 1, it will be 1, so 7 into 1 will be 7. Very easy problem, but I think about this problem, it can be solved by after multiplication conjugate, but it becomes more complicated, so I leave it. Now I want to tell example 12. You have to see it. Be careful. 12. Limit. If limit x tends to 2, x to the power n minus 2 to the power n divided by x minus 2 is equal to 80, where n belongs to natural number, then you have to find the value of small n. How can you solve? It is very easy. As you know that it is a formula of x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus n, where x tends to 2. Can you write it just like from LHS? N into 2 to the power n minus 1 is equal to 80. Now you have to solve it. There is no any usual process by which you can solve directly. You have to proceed by usual way. In simply, can you write it? Five into 2 to the power 5 minus 1. You have to think about it. Now you definitely think how can you write? As you know that 80 is equal to 80 can be written as 5 into 16, and 5 into 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4. As you know that you have to write it as it. Here you have to write n and here you have to write n minus 1. So I want to write 2 to the power 4 can be written as 2 to the power 5 minus 1. Now you have to compare, so n will be what? 5. Now I want to take another example. Third, in this problem it is given that if limit x tends to 1, x to the power 4 minus 1 divided by x minus 1 is equal to limit x tends to k, x to the power 3 minus k to the power 3 divided by x square minus k square, then k will be what? I think it is also very easy, because as you know that you can write here 1 to the power 4, Now you know that this is x to the power m minus a to the power n divided by x minus a. Limit x tends to a. So can you write 4 into 1 to the power 4 minus 1 is equal to, it is what? It is 3 by 2 into k to the power m minus n, that means 3 minus 2. Can you write? Now you consider it will be 4. So that implies that 4 is equal to 3 by 2. If you take 2 in as a multiplication and 3 individual, because 1 to the power any power will be 1. So can you write 4 into 2, 8 by 3? It will be 8 by 3. Here you get k to the power 3 minus 2, that will be what? 3, which is your required answer. All problems are very, very easy. Now we take another example. If limit x tends to a, your example will be 40. Now I want to take another example, 40. In 14, it says that if limit x tends to a, x to the power n minus a to the power n divided by x minus a is equal to limit x to the power 5, x tends to 5, x plus 5. Is equal to limit x tends to x plus 5. Now you have to find the value of a. As you know that its value will be a to the power 9 into a to the power 9 minus 1 is equal to, if you put 5, you can find value of this limit directly, 5 plus 5 10. So a to the power, what is the its value? Sorry, one minute wait. Find the value of c. What is given in this problem? I think I have write this problem somewhere incorrect. 1 minute wait. There is 4 in this problem. There is 4. Sorry. If you put here 5 plus 4, that will be what? 9. So a to the power a to the power 9 minus 1, that means 8 is equal to 1. If 9 and cancel, so a to the power 8 is equal to 1. So 8 is equal to what? Plus minus 1. Because if you take if a to the power 8 is equal to 1, then a will be what? A is equal to plus minus 1. I think your up to example 14, which is as a similar pattern, I will discuss. Now I want to take another topic, another problems in which we will discuss mainly existence of limit. So I will tell you, firstly you have to remember all those formula limit, mainly 2 formula. After it you have to answer some theoretical portion as existence of limit, and how do you find right hand limit and how do you find left hand limit, because for any limit there are 2 parts, right hand limit and a limit left hand limit. What is the formula to find right hand limit and what is the formula to find left hand limit? After it next class I will discuss again existence of limit, that means limit. That means we have to discuss all those problems which is related to existence of limit. Theoretically as well as problems I will again discuss, but I again still you say to you, you have to remember all formula which is related to this and some theoretical portion also. That means what do you mean by existence of limit, what is RHL, what is LHL, and 2 or 3 formula. After it I will again discuss, after completing whole exercise I will discuss limits which is related to trigonometric functions. So I say to you again and again, remember all trigonometric formula, because I can use anywhere formula of trigonometry. Thanks a lot. I will again meet in next class in which I will discuss existence problems which is related to existence of the limit. Bye.